views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is a special edition show. This is our Becoming a Sun Radio, where David Karchere and I co-host. Becoming a Sun Radio is about emotional and spiritual intelligence for a happy and fulfilling life. I mean, like, who doesn't really want that? But in the meantime, the question really is, how do we get there? For those of you that may know David, I want to just say that he is somebody that has said yes to helping all of us step in, to this world and become everything we desire to be and do good things in the world. He's an author, a speaker, a poet, workshop leader, and one of the foremost thought leaders on primal spirituality worldwide. So today's show, beyond looking at introspectively, the question really is for those of us here today, primal spirituality, what is it? And how do we use it to connect to source, to embrace our destiny, to reclaim our first spirituality, and much more. David, it's great to have you here. Welcome. This is we just need a double dose of this today, I think.
Well, I do believe that's true, Pat. Every day is a day to reconnect vitally with the life force within us and the innate wisdom that we have. And that's what primal spirituality is all about. It's our first spirituality. It's what's inbuilt and innate in us. So glad to be able to share this with you and with your listeners. Well,
today this is talking about opening the fifth gateway of enlightened thinking. And I got to tell you right now, I think we need some real-time examples of what enlightened thinking is. The other thing also, David, you're going to talk about is enlightened thinking isn't only for the 0.0001% of the people on the planet that dedicates their entire lives to enlightenment, meditation. Isn't it for all of us to tap into?
Absolutely. I mean, the word enlightenment applies to us all. It applies to us all. And when we're talking about enlightened thinking, we're talking about possibility thinking. We're talking about opening up to a potentiality that could be born into our world, that could happen for us, could happen for our world that isn't there now. So it's so vital that, yes, we not only observe what is happening in the world and see that for what it is, but then we open our eyes to what could happen that's not there yet. And that's really what enlightened thinking is all about.
Yeah. And, I love talking about the idea of possibility because, I was talking with someone yesterday about perspective. And, I've learned a lot about perspective in my life from a lot of different people, but mostly from my own spiritual journey. I mean, the thing that I got to understand most is that I am the creator of the thinking. I am the creator of the thinking, not because there's something going on in the news or something going on in my front yard. I am the one. And so how do we learn that we literally, that's enormous potentiality of power that we have?
Yeah, and you have to have the courage to go there,
Yeah.
because there's this train of thinking that just goes on and on and on and on that just says it's impossible. So you start to think about something that could happen, and there's that little voice in the head that says, oh, it's not for me, it could never happen to me, or I tried it before and it didn't happen, and all of that. And you really have to quiet all that down so you can turn your attention to live into the possibility of what could happen in your life. And you begin to do that, and things look different.
Why is this type of enlightened thinking, David, part of the spiritual nature of an individual, of a person? Why is this part of it? Because I don't think that we're at the place now where, first of all, we all think we have it, or secondly, that we think it's part of our spiritual nature, so to speak.
Well, it's so important, Pat, because as I know you've discovered, we can follow some path that says stop thinking. That doesn't work too well, because we have to think in our life. There are things to think about. We can follow a path that says these are the things you should think. And that doesn't go very well, because we really do have to think for ourselves. So there has to be another alternative of where we let our thinking go. We have to be able to think for ourselves, not only in puzzling through the problems that arise in our life, but think for ourselves in the sense of opening up to the very practical opportunities that are there for us in all the facets of our life, from relationship to money to career, family life, the whole thing.
I love what you said about possibilities, and I want to get back to that for a minute, because we sometimes get to this place where fear starts to show up, and the way it shows up is predicting failure. And what I mean by that is we have an opportunity, because this has been given to us, an ability to look and see ourselves in the future. How we see ourselves seems to be part of the challenge. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So often we're profound believers in our own failure and the impossibility of our lives.
Right.
And really, to get realistic about how life goes, when we open up to possibility, it carries us forward. And even though, in all our lives, there are the things that don't go as we want them to go. And there's, in a given day, it seems like there's a million little deaths, a million things that don't go the way you want them to go. They don't meet your expectations of what should happen. But there's something else happening if we let it, because if we're opening up to possibility, there's something being born in our lives that, yes, it has all these things that are not happening as we expected, but there's something else happening that we didn't expect, that we're opening to, and then we're just delighting in. Life is being born. And so enlightened thinking is the ability to see what's being born. What comes to mind is that here where I live at Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado, we have the Arise Festival coming like right around the corner. And it's the 5th time we'll have it, the 5th year.
Wow.
And so we live in this beautiful valley. And when we first began to think about the possibility of having 10,000 people out in our pasture, listening to great music and going to great workshops, it was exciting, and it was an enlightened thought that we could do that right here at Sunrise Ranch. And then there's all the fears about it happening. It's like, oh, the grass will get trampled. Oh, how is it going to get recovered? What will the neighbors think? And all the rest. And yet we saw the possibility. We saw it together with friends. And then we said yes. We said yes to the possibility. And then it just has grown and grown to it's just this glorious thing for Sunrise Ranch, for me personally, and for all of us who are involved.
And we're on Facebook Live, and Jessica and Justin just put up the screen of Sunrise, just put up the image of Sunrise Ranch and what you were talking about. I mean, okay, let's just you and I, first and foremost, you and I are just people. We're people. And we get up every day and we have things that we do just like other people. We have situations. You are talking about how you've stepped into a life, right? Which at some point you had a vision of. I'm not sure that folks get that you and I got here to where we are talking today. I don't know about you, but I've stepped in a few potholes and I've gotten some help sometimes getting out of them. But, sometimes it sounds like here you are, you're talking about this amazing event. Here we are, 10 channels. We're getting ready to launch a whole crowdfunding thing on Lyme disease. But boy, don't we look at some of the moments where we just had a giant boulder that we needed to get up a hill, right?
Yeah, exactly. Here at Sunrise Ranch, there were times, I've been here now 17 years.
Wow.
And there were times where it was like, hey, just, we have some kind of dream, but right now we're just putting one foot in front of the other and we're just keep on keeping on, But if the dream is alive and you're living into that dream, it's happening for you. It is happening. And then it's reflected on the outside in whatever way it is over time. And there's a big allowing, I'm allowing what's manifesting in my life to manifest in whatever way it wants to. I'm not apathetic about all that. I'm bringing enlightened thinking to bring it forward into the greatest possibility that's available in whatever moment, in whatever project. So I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, I love it because one of the things we're going to talk about when we come back is one of my favorite subjects. It is opening the sixth gateway, the gateway of courage. And I want to just be really clear, right, David? It's like sometimes it's about huge, gigantic courage, right? Like you're going to take out a $500,000 loan to launch your idea. Other times it's like, do I have the courage to buy this car? Yeah, we're going to be right back. That and everything in between. How about the courage to imagine a joyful day? Stay tuned. David Karchere. We're going to give you lots of information, how you can participate in any and all of the above. We'll be right back.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh I realize.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Discover the healing medicine from the giant monkey tree frog Cambo. Cambo practitioner Ginny Rutherford and professional psychic Todd Rolson have come together for lively discussions of alternative healing medicines from the Amazon. Ginny and Todd bring you Cambo Talk Radio. Tune in each Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear from guests all over the world with real life stories and the medicinal benefits of Cambo. For more information, visit cambokiss.com.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Do you feel that there's a bigger, better life for you? Is there anything holding you back from living the life you were meant to live? If you'd like to find your life's true purpose and calling, join the world's foremost authority on primal spirituality, David Karchere, in Becoming a Sun Radio, emotional and spiritual intelligence for a happy, fulfilling life. Tune in once a month to Becoming a Sun Radio with David Karchere on The Dr. Pat Show and Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit davidkarchere.com today.
Gain powerful insight and practical tools to support you on your spiritual journey. Access your higher self and tune in every second and fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific to A Life Untethered with Andrew Martin, Walking the Path of Freedom. Andrew is a highly attuned, intuitive oracle, energy worker, spiritual teacher, and international radio host. For more about Andrew and his services, visit thelightones.com.
Darkness inside you can make you feel so small.
Benny. Good job, Benny. Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat. You're listening to Becoming a Sun Radio with me and my co-host today, David Karchere. David, listen. You know, the people that are watching on Facebook Live, you can watch this on Facebook Live at Facebook Transformation Talk Radio. Just go ahead and listen. The people that are watching this are seeing images. They saw an image of the ranch. They saw an image of the upcoming event that you were talking about. But the folks that are listening on radio or listening on their smartphones, we need to give them a little bit more information. So before we jump into courage, which I love, what's the best way for folks to find out more about you and about the event that you mentioned?
Sure. So to find out about me, they can go to davidkarchere.com. So that's the easiest way to do it. And to find out about the event, they can go to sunriseranch.org. So that's our website, and the Arise Festival will be here at Sunrise Ranch in early August, and I can give you the exact dates.
Wow.
Wow. It's coming right up.
And it's just like, so we could go to the website and, you know, let's say that our team here wanted to go hang with you. We could register and come up and hang, right? Yep.
Yeah. So it's August 4th through 6th. You can find out about it at sunriseranch.org. And then you actually register at the Arise Festival website, and I'll look that up on the break and give that address as well.
Or maybe Justin and Jessica, you could look it up and also pop it up on the screen for us if you don't mind. Okay. I have had to learn, even as a young child. My mother died when I was 6, committed suicide. I was homeless at 17. And I had to learn over a lifetime what you're about to share with us today. And I wish you were in my life then, and I wish your work and the program that you provide. But as they say, you learn what you need to learn when you need to learn. When you need to learn it and how you learn it. But, you know, the reason I do this show, David, is so that people can be introduced to you and not have to go through perhaps what I went through, what you went through. But courage is one of those things, isn't it?
It sure is. You know, right at the root of that word courage is the word cœur, which is a French word for heart. Oh. So to me, courage is about the heart and pouring your heart into many things. So usually when people think of courage, they think of the courage to perform brave acts. And yes, it is that. You know, it's the courage to do the thing that needs to be done, that you need to do for yourself and for your world. It is that. But it's also the courage to pour your heart into that thing that you do, to show up with the true you, the real you at a feeling level, and how you're being with other people and how you're being in the world. It's the courage to think for yourself, as we were speaking about earlier. And ultimately, it's the courage to be yourself, to believe that who you are inside is enough for your life and for the world in which you live. And however that goes, being yourself, that's how it's going to be. And you're willing to like bet your life on being yourself. And that's an act of courage.
Yeah. Listen, how did you learn this? Can I ask that? How did you learn this? Because I think right now in the world, I work with young people. I work with, under 10. I work with teenagers now. I work with folks in addiction and recovery. And courage right now is in the forefront of what people want achievable in their life. And I would love to just ask you, how did you personally learn this?
There's so many lessons of courage in my own life and so many dimensions of my life. I think for me, about the same time that you left home, I had a similar experience. I was 16 when I left home for a period of something like 9 months. And I was coming face to face with the fact that the life that was prepared for me and the culture I was living in, I didn't want to live. And so I was coming face to face with that. And I was coming face to face with the fact that the world around me had very serious problems, and that inside myself were those same problems, and that I had to do something radically different. It just became so clear to me. I had to make a radical change. So that was a big learning, a huge learning for me, because in the process of all that, I had the courage to find my path, to find myself in the middle of all around me that looked chaotic, and to live the life of being myself. So, that was certainly a seminal experience in my own life.
This gateway, I love that you and I are talking about it today. There's an old line from some Broadway show, courage to be me, courage to be me. Do you think that perhaps that's one of the greatest aspects of courage that we face? That courage to be me, who I am, the courage to be you, who you are, the courage to be everybody that's listening, for each person to be who they are.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that, Pat. I can remember for myself the time I was in business, working in a corporation, and I was dealing with all the things that happen in corporate life, and I just made a decision. I said, you know what? I'm just going to be myself and see how that goes. Like, people can like me, they can not like me, but I'm going to be myself. And that's just a very empowering decision for anyone. And I think we make a fool's bargain when we think we're going to hide ourselves. We're going to try to be somebody other than who we are and pretend. And then, you're living a life of pretense. And how much fun is that?
Yeah, well, I could tell you I did that most of my life, David. I mean, true confessions. I've shared a couple of stories with listeners, but, I've lived that most of my life. One day, I can't tell you when, I've had moments where authenticity showed up, right? That thing. And so once I had that, even though it took me a while to do this, listen, you and I are sitting here as if doing what we're doing right here is like breathing. It hasn't always been like that. I mean, I was a kid that stuttered. I stuttered. Doing this, the people that went to school with me, they were shocked to find out that I actually could talk, David.
That's brilliant, Pat.
So, shame.
Sure.
I had shame.
Yep. I want to touch on another dimension of courage, which is to simply express your feelings. I'm doing a workshop at the Arise Festival called Heart Connected Relationships. So, It takes courage to show up in a relationship and share your feelings with another person. To let another person know that, I care about you. You mean something to me in my life. Wow, that takes some courage to do that. You subject yourself to the possibility of rejection, of shaming in whatever way, of not saying it right. All those things. It takes courage to show up in a relationship, to have a heart-connected relationship, and then to live your life that way.
David, we were talking about something in preparation for the show today. And of course, we love what we do. And now, we're moving into new technology we've developed, especially this interface that people are seeing on Facebook Live. And then you have, Justin, Benny, and then you have Jessica, who courage shows up in a different way. Jessica selects the images for what people see on Facebook. And that takes courage to know that you have faith in yourself, what you do, certainly to second guess what's going on in my brain. That takes courage. Yeah. And most importantly, to represent you honorably. Isn't that another form of courage, the belief?
Yeah. So it's the courage of creativity.
Yeah.
And that gets back to the enlightened thinking. So she's thinking about what's possible in something so simple in her everyday duties as finding an image for Facebook. And yet it is an act of courage to be creative and to trust your own creativity, to trust your own enlightened thinking about something so simple as finding an image.
Yeah. I want to touch upon one thing here around courage that I think is important. Shame. Many of us grew up, what's the word I want to use? In abusive situations. Many of us have.
Yep.
And as a result of that, as a young child, we kind of drag shame along with us. What's the relationship between shame and courage?
Psychologists say that shame is a global attack on self. And then you have to think about, well, what's the antidote to a global attack on selfhood and all the dimensions of selfhood, how you think, how you feel, how you act, what your body shape is, all of that. So
right.
What's the antidote to that? The antidote is courage. It's the courage to be yourself. In the face of the feelings of shame, the messages of shame you get either from within yourself or from other people. In the face of that, it takes courage, to say, no, I'm going to show up in the here and now. I'm being myself. I'm going to express how I feel. I'm going to act with courage in this thing. I'm going to do the thing that needs to be done. I'm going to keep moving. All that just demonstrates to ourselves, if we do it, that courage is the antidote to shame.
Wow. We're going to take a short break, everyone. We're not done. For those of you that are listening, if you have a question for us, even though you're watching us on Facebook, you can give us a call, 1-800-930-2819. You could also put your question in Facebook in the comments as well. We'll get your questions on here. And you could also go to Transformation Talk Radio for those of you listening online. And right underneath the show, you can type your question in. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the gateway of grace. The gateway of grace. Courage, how do we manifest it? How do we represent it? But what do we do to demonstrate courage as grace? Stay tuned, everyone. David Karchere. I'm Dr. Pat. We'll be right back.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray so far away from my.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening Retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out at drpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Be you plus live your purpose equals joy. That's the motto of Unstuck Joy with Vicki Todd. Vicki believes you were born with gifts that are meant to make the world brighter. Each show will feature an art visioning journal prompt to help you create your way to soul clarity. If you're ready to get unstuck and create more joy, this show is for you. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit VickiWorldArt.com.
She's got to save him. She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you. She tells him your life ain't gonna be nothing like...
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat. You're listening to Becoming a Sun Radio, David Karchere's fabulous show. We co-host this together once a month. For those of you that are listening, you're listening on a number of different stations. For those of you that are watching, you're watching on Facebook, probably at my personal page, but also at Transformation Talk Radio. Before we jump ahead, lots of information for all of you at davidkarchere.com. But if you want to find out about some of these other events, you can go look at sunriseranch.org, right, David?
That's right. Yep.
Okay. And so there are a couple of things we should mention. One, Primal Spirituality is booked for this year, but
yes, that's right.
People can look at next year, right?
That's right.
Good. And then tell us about the upcoming Arise Festival.
Yeah, so the Arise Festival, you can find out more about at arisefestival.com, and you can buy a ticket there too. So there's all kinds of music of all kinds of genres. It's a camping festival, so you can camp.
Wow.
There are workshops, there are lectures. Barbara Marx Hubbard is going to be there.
Wow.
And it's about awakened consciousness around the planet and celebrating that with each other in this fabulous community of something like 10,000 people that'll be together for 3 days. And it's August 4th through 6th.
I love it.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, because we are talking about, the gateway of grace. Sometimes we could sit alone in our home and experience grace. But then we get in the outside world and we go to a festival with 10,000 people, or we go to the grocery store, or wait a minute, we get on the 405, Highway 405 at rush hour, right?
Yep.
Grace on the 405, right, Benny? Grace on the 405 at rush hour, that is almost akin to a miracle.
Yeah, so living our life with grace. I mean, I think we sometimes have images of, ballet dancers or of, something like that. And then we can think of the gracefulness of a duck, gliding upon the water. And we know that underneath the little feet are paddling like crazy.
Right.
So what's the reality of grace? And the reality of grace, I believe, has a whole lot to do with, first of all, courage, because you're showing up, you're present in your world, and you're bringing all of who you are and your thinking and feeling, and you're willing to show up as yourself. But then grace is about allowing what happens after that to happen. And unless somebody else has got a really different program than I've got in their life never goes as you think it's going to go. That's not what happens. There are all kinds of things that go on. Grace is being in all that and accepting and allowing it, and then being yourself in it, and then seeing that the glory is not that it all happened like you wanted it to. Sometimes it does. The glory is that life is happening. And you're a part of it. We're all a part of the circle of life and the circle of being with each other. And we get to do this. We get to do it together. And in all the comings and goings and all the seeming successes and failures, there is something glorious happening in the circle of life that we're a part of. So to me, that's what grace is.
Yeah, there is so many phrases around grace. One that I don't know how I learned this or grew up with it is grace under fire. And I want to talk with you about that, because in that phrase, it wasn't metaphorical. It was literally in wartime, right? That kind of fire. But it has become metaphorical. I mean, it has become grace under fire when your boss is not happy with you. Grace under fire, when you feel that you're being attacked or bullied. I mean, it's a new phrase, right? It's an old phrase, but it could have new meaning.
Right.
The fire, however, could also come from our own perspective.
Right. Well, it's interesting that word fire, of course, has so many meanings that the phrase is from a wartime expression.
Yeah.
But it's grace in the fire of being, in the fire of your own soul, in the fire of what's happening in your life. I don't know that grace is something we achieve by trying. It's something we achieve by letting go. It's like, okay, it's just all happening, and good or bad or indifferent, I'm here for it. I'm here in it, and I'm here to be there in gratitude and forgiveness.
Can we talk about forgiveness for a minute?
Yep.
I want to go back to courage, if we could. My mom used to say to me, my stepmom used to say to me, with a southern drawl, honey, the greatest challenge to courage you will ever have is your ability to forgive. I'm telling you, I didn't know what the bleep she was talking about for a lot of years. And I look back at her wisdom today, and I have a different appreciation. I would love for you to talk about forgiveness, courage, and grace, because they really do have a synergy, don't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with your stepmom. It takes courage to forgive. You and I and all the listeners who are participating with us right now, we could do something with that. We could think of a person we haven't forgiven, where we feel some kind of hurt, some kind of injury, and we could just allow that person to come to mind and say, maybe what they did was wrong. However, it would be a powerful act right now to forgive them. To forgive them. In some way, they were doing the best they knew how to do. Maybe it was out of defensiveness or whatever. They did what they did. But we can be in forgiveness. It doesn't mean we have to, do anything more than that. That may be enough. Just to be in forgiveness. Sometimes we hold resentment, and they say that it's, resentment is a poison that we're giving to ourselves. Yeah. And through forgiveness, we're entering into grace. And then, of course, the ultimate person we have to forgive is ourselves. But I love the teaching that says, that we forgive ourselves as we're forgiving others. It's all part of the same thing. So if you want to forgive yourself, forgive those people in your life that you have yet to forgive, and you'd be surprised how that reflects back on yourself. And now you're living in a different ease of heart. You're living in grace when you do that.
David, I wanted to ask you about the word empowerment. It is a word that has taken on a lot of different meanings over time, but most importantly, empowerment became a buzzword in corporations, right? And then the agreements in corporations changed, but the word now has taken on a more global meaning. Can you talk about that and primal spirituality? How do they work together, or maybe they don't?
Well, they certainly do. So our primal spirituality is the innate wiring we have in creation as a creator. So we have this amazing energy within us, this creator within us, this beingness within us. So when we're connecting to our power. It's the power of being ourselves. And that's why we talk about primal spirituality involving courage, because ultimately it is the courage to be ourselves. And so being ourselves and being in our creatorship, we find that we have authority in our lives over what we're creating. Like you have authority over your radio platform, over Transformation Talk Radio. You have authority, and why do you have authority? You created it. You know how it got built. You know why it got built. You know all the facets of it. And so you are empowered. You have a natural authority over what you've created. When we embrace our own creatorship, we're creating our lives, and then all the facets of our lives, our relationships, our business, our profession that we're creating, we have the authority of creatorship and the empowerment of a creator. We're empowered. We created it. And it's so simple, actually, when you see it in that light, as opposed to trying to achieve some empowered feeling when we're not in our creatorship. It's really hard.
Well, and a lot of this is how you and I continue to choose to take our message out. And I know that you've created some messaging that you're now bringing forth, attunements, different things to help people, festivals, all of the above. And I'd like to go ahead, if we could, and just skip this break so we can continue. We need tools. I need tools. I mean, I what was it my mother said to me once a long time ago? Honey, you better get yourself a job at the phone company because they don't fire people. And, bless her heart, what she was trying to say to me was, man, go ahead and get that job because we're not really 100% sure about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I need tools.
Yeah.
What are some of the tools? What can we share with people during this segment? What can we help them with? The messages, the affirmations, I love tools.
Yeah, that's so needed, Pat. I think you put you used a word that was very important to tools, and the word is messages, because there are so many messages that we get that are disempowering, that are telling us not to be ourselves, that we're not enough. And you named one from your mother, but whether it's from friends, family, media, business, whatever, there's so many disempowering messages that lodge in our consciousness and affect our thinking and feeling. We don't realize how infected we get by negative messages. So what's the antidote to that? We have to find positive, true messages that empower us. And so that's so important. And I am proud to say I am a message bringer. First of all, to my own heart and mind. And I believe we all need to do that for ourselves. But as we do that for ourselves, we're bringing something to other people into the world. And that's what I'm doing. And so in all kinds of ways, I'm putting out messages that are about the truth of who I am, which I believe is universal. We are all creators. We're all creator beings. We're all a dimension of the divine in expression, in living expression. So that's available on my website at sunriseranch.org and in the work that I do.
And there are classes people could attend, and we should mention that.
Yes.
You're creating so many opportunities for us, to step into that next level of consciousness. And I think it varies. I mean, I think for me, somebody that grew up in a place that I never thought I would leave, I never thought I would get out of there. I mean, I didn't know that there was a world outside of, the Bronx in New York. I really didn't. And for a really long time. But sometimes in the day and age we live in now, so many opportunities, right? So many.
Absolutely. I mean, they are there. And, it's up to us as an individual to reach out so that we can receive what's there for us. Now, if we never reach out, if we never extend a hand, if we never ask for it and go for it, we don't receive what is there waiting for us.
What's the message for folks today? We talked about so many things, and I love that we started talking about possibilities. I mean, I learned a question about 4 years ago. No matter what scenario I'm in, no matter what situation I'm in, stop and say, what else is possible here? And I got to tell you, I get answers. But then I have to have the courage. Okay, that was the message. Now go do that, Pat. Some days, David, some days it's do the laundry, right? Other days it's do Facebook Live with David Karchere.
Yeah, well, courage is about not only the big things, it's about the little things. It's like I'm showing up in my life, all of it, or the seemingly small, the seemingly large. I'm showing up in it with heart, being myself. I'm showing up with other people, bringing the depth of who I am. One of the challenges that required courage from me was, how do I share the feelings I have for other people?
Yeah.
And how do I let it out? I mean, that's a huge problem for us as human beings.
Yeah.
Like, how do I let somebody else know who I am on the inside? Now, that's a lifelong project, I think, learning how to reveal ourselves to other people in a way that works in a social context, that works in our culture.
Yeah. You and I both have that. I mean, I didn't grow up with this idea of having this open heart. I grew up, as I would like to say, a little crusty. Hence, I created crust busting in 2001, right? That, that hard coating around the heart, because it wasn't always safe to open my heart. But what I learned about that, I could learn how to knock that crust off. And I think that's what you're talking about. We all have the ability to grow. on the outside, in the world, in material things, but also on the inside, and especially in our spiritual way.
Absolutely. And, you know, sometimes people think that if you're going to express from your heart that you're going to become a softie and vulnerable in the world. You know, I don't get any tougher than I need to be, but I get as tough as I need to be. Like if I need to get tough in my life and hard with somebody, I will, you know, but I don't have to go there. It's not a way of life for me. I'm not doing it because it's the only way I know how to be. No, I can express the softness and the tenderness of who I am in ways that are appropriate in my life. And I just know that that's a whole lot better way to live a life than crusty, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe the next show we do, I'll put a little image of a little crusty character I created. You know, David, I mean, I think that this is a time that people look at in the outer world, and we wonder sometimes if the outer world gives us the greatest opportunity to rise up above whatever we see on the news, whatever is happening in politics, because otherwise things just kind of trot along. But when something in the outer world shows up and gets our attention, we have an opportunity to rise up or not. How do we best do that?
How do we best rise up? Well, I think it's coming back to what inspires us and what our greatest values are, our highest values in our life. Mm-hmm. It's coming back to what we have touched in our life that is for us real and important, significant, what means something to us. You know, so often we get divorced from that. We start living a life that's just going down some other path. But in the face of a challenge, I think we have to ask ourselves, okay, what's really important to me? What am I willing to stand for? And what am I willing to create in the world in the face of this that I'm dealing with?
Mm. Mm. Well, David, again, what a fabulous, fabulous conversation. If we could just take a minute and again, let folks know how to find out more about you. And then what's your personal message? What do you want to leave us with here today? Thank you so much for all you're doing.
Thank you, Pat. So people can get in touch with me at davidkarchere.com. And I live at Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado, conference and retreat center, home of the Rise Festival. They can find out about the ranch at sunriseranch.org. And so those are two great ways to find out about what I'm up to.
Awesome. Personal message, what would you like to leave us with today? And thank you so much.
Simply that it's a great life. Mm. It is a great life. And I know we all face tough things, but even in the middle of those tough things, it is a great life. And we are great people. And we're strong people. And people who have something wonderful in front of us if we'll only embrace it. Something wonderful to give to the world, to meet the unique needs of the world that we're in. And the world needs your gift, my gift, all our gifts. And it's so easy to see. And when we see the challenging things that are happening in our world, we can simply think, this world needs me and the gifts, the creative gifts I have to give to it.
Wow. Thank you so much. David Karchere, everyone. Go to davidkarchere.com or sunriseranch.org. Lots going on. Don't forget the festival in August. Amazing, amazing time. David, thank you so very much.
What a pleasure, Pat. Thank you.
I can't wait till next time. Hey, everybody, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
preceding audio was via a Skype call.